I try, but it's just after a while, I just don't. I don't know. I'm a capitalist. I love. I mean, it's great to go get money and everything, but like after a while, the college football playoff is now very seriously talking about, and you can see where this is going. That they're going to go to 14 teams, and it's just like, hey, look, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. I mean, do we need 12 teams? More than four is probably needed. Okay, more than eight is probably not. And you know, I am a complete sycophant. I'll watch it. I mean, I will watch it. I guarantee you, I will watch it. I promise you very much that I'm gonna watch this. Whatever they put up there, I will watch it. Which is the problem because, you know, we we as consumers, even though I cover the sport, we as consumers have shown that the essentially the second or third most reliable thing in media or in media, I mean, is college football playoff. Basically, I mean, you've got the NFL, which is its own monster. I mean, it's insane. And now we've got the college football playoff, which dovetails off of the college football season, which had its highest viewed season in history in 2023. But to go from 12 to 14 before we even play a 12-team playoff, that is ridiculous. And, you know, I know why this is happening. I'll explain all of that to you. But I do want to make sure that we have some of the reason why this is going on. Okay, I mean the simple answer is money. Okay, which is fine. But Ross Dillinger, who's done a very good job reporting about this over time, over at Yahoo, is reporting the model is not finalized and is not the only option. More discussing and vetting, blah blah blah. But he says a 14-team playoff model is being socialized that would grant 3 automatic qualifiers to the Big Ten and the SEC, 2 each to the Big 12 and the ACC, 1 automatic qualifier for the other clown shows, and then 3 at large. Listen, just pick the 12 best teams or the 14. Like, we don't need the group of 5 in these playoffs. This is so stupid. It is beyond ridiculous. We probably don't need Syracuse in there either if they're the second best team from the ACC. Okay? People, we don't need all of this garbage. We don't. Just line up the best 8 teams. No buys. None of that. And just go let them have at it. If the best 8 are from the SEC, God bless them, let it go. 3 teams from the Big Ten? Why? So Missouri can kick Penn State's ass? Or, Vanderbilt can kick. I mean, Penn State is a joke. And we've talked about this for a long time. Can't we just say the Big Ten don't got it? And it's okay. Their top teams are really good. The top 2 teams are exceptional. But like when LSU is walking the dog on, no, it was Tennessee, is beating the second best team as described by the way that the Big Ten puts its divisions together. When Tennessee is whipping their ass so bad that I go back and forth to watch to see if LSU will collapse against Wisconsin or whoever they played, and they nearly did just because that's what they do. I mean, like, what is the point of all of this? And the point is money. Money. And that's all. I mean, and that's fine, I guess. But after a while, it's just like, y'all, do we really, like, oh my God, I just want to take a break and check out the bobblehead. I just want to take a break and check out the bobblehead, which is exclusive to Red Zone. They don't have them in stock because they can't get them because they're that exclusive. You can order it. The link is down below. It will be shipped to you later this spring. Very limited edition. I mean, my suspicion is these will not be around after spring practice. So order them today. The reason why Disney, who is definitely getting a hold of this thing, This is very simple. Okay, it's everybody complains about money, and then they complain about socialism and all this stuff. Listen, they're doing this to make as much money as possible. All right, and what they're doing is they're saying we can take this playoff and we can create an event during the holidays. We can create an event from Thanksgiving to New Year's and beyond. But the early boring games, we're going to have 14-team playoff. We can go straight after conference championship weekend with the dregs of the team. So whenever Liberty's getting their ass blown out, it will be that weekend. But bowl games work. Now people, why are there so many bowl games? Because people watch them. That's it. Cletus, that's all that's going on. Is it there are people watching them. I'm watching them. Everybody's watching them. Not everybody, but 3 million people are watching Ball State playing Northern Kentucky or whatever. And that's 3 million people more than would be watching, the Rangers play the Islanders or something. So you take that and you extrapolate it on Friday and Saturday nights during the holidays, and it will become a new holiday tradition. Period. That's what's going on here. That's like step 35, but that's what's going on here. And by stretching out the amount of teams that play, you're going to get with what Ross has got down here. You're going to get 3 automatic qualifiers from the SEC and the ACC, or from the SEC and the Big Ten. That's 6 teams from those leagues. Okay, so that's 6 power. So that in this scenario a season ago would have been Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Georgia, Alabama, Texas in the future. No, last year it would have been, for the future, it would have been UW, Michigan, and then UW, Michigan, Alabama, Texas. All those teams would get in. Georgia, and I guess Ohio State. I don't know if Ohio State was in front of Purdue or whoever or Penn State. Oh, God. So you'd have those 6 like name brands. And then you'd have sort of Florida State, Clemson, or whatever garbage comes from the ACC. You'd have whatever garbage comes from the Big 12, Houston and Texas Tech or something. God, nobody wants to see that, okay? And then you'd have an automatic qualifier, which is, again, total trash. Liberty this past year getting their skulls crushed by Oregon. Actually, last year would have been UW, Oregon, and Michigan, probably not Ohio State. And then 3 at-large schools, which would have then gotten Ohio State, like Missouri, etc. That's what it would have been. The more Big Ten and SEC, the better. That's what they're wanting. Because for a lot of different things, a lot of different conferences, they want the powers. They want the name brands. And that's why the power is there for these guys right now. It is unnecessary to have a 14-team playoff. It is probably unnecessary to have a 12-team playoff. But 12 is better than 4. I don't like 4. I don't like 12. It's too many. And I don't know why we have to act like the group of 5 should be involved in this in any way, because they should not. There's Del McGee's program at Georgia State has no business being on the field with Kirby Smart's team at Georgia. And Dean at Dawg Post is my email. The folks at Georgia State, you can email me and scream at me. Everybody at Georgia Southern, you have no business being in this playoff. Georgia State, you have no business. Mercer, I don't know if Mercer, I don't know what the deal is there. Reinhardt, LaGrange. I know I'm getting ridiculous here, but you get my point. Valdosta, no. It should be the best teams, not the best teams, and we're going to throw a bone. Just throw them some money. Give them money. And I cannot wait until the modern-day equivalent of Boise upsets Oklahoma or whatever. Now, the other thing that's going to happen here is you're going to get a lot less complaining from people who scream at the clouds about, guys transferring out or whatever you want to call it, sitting out. Well, if you have 14 teams, those 14 teams are going to, they're all going to have their players because they're all going to believe that they can win the national championship. They can't win the national championship. I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay, this is just not happening. I don't want it to go back to 4. I think 4 is too few. I do. I mean, I think it's great, but when you like last year when Georgia got locked out, that was wrong. Florida State getting locked out, that wasn't wrong, but I understand their argument. Okay, and in both cases, it was ridiculous that a standard was applied to one of them and then not applied to the other. Okay, but that said, we don't need 14. I mean, but I know why they're going to do it, and I know I have no morals, so I'll be sitting there watching it. But there's no reason for this. We're going to eventually, with a 14, you're going to have everybody, I think, playing 17 games to win the national championship. That's how many regular season NFL games there are, if I'm not mistaken. So there might be 18 now. I remember as a child, there were 16, and that was it. It was enough watching the Falcons lose 10 games. We didn't see them losing, 12 because there's an 18-game schedule. Well, now you got that. Congratulations. But I would slow this down. One thing that Mike Wilbon was talking about the other day was, the Big Ten is screaming and yelling about 3 automatic qualifiers because they know they don't deserve 3. Yeah, exactly. They don't. He's exactly right. The best 2 Big Ten schools, usually, they are competitive with the SEC. As we have seen time and time and time again, the ones under Michigan and Ohio State, essentially, they're not. Think about the Michigan State-Alabama semifinal. Ass whipping. Total beating, okay? Just last year, the team, I think it was Iowa. Iowa played for the Big Ten championship. Tennessee rolled them by like 40. Like, they have no business being in this thing. Which, once we start slotting it like this, it becomes a little tricky. It becomes a little concerning. Now, if you're the SEC, you can sit there and say, well, we can get 6 of our 16 teams into this thing. We might take this deal. I mean, maybe that I understand that, but I mean, like, the public, there's going to be constant complaining about this. And, are these games going to be played on campus or at neutral sites? No, there's no reason to play a neutral site game in Detroit. There's no reason to play a neutral site game in Minnesota. There's no reason for the Cincinnati Bengals to host a neutral site game in December. No. This is, so you get my point. There's got to be some reality set in. Now, this is a money grab. And that's just what it is. And that's their deal. But in terms of, is this good or right? I mean, it's only good because we have the opportunity to sit there and watch it. We're not watching like Duke play St. John's and we act like that's a big basketball game when it never is. Just because it's played at Madison Square Garden. I think Duke's going to whip their ass. It doesn't matter. No one cares. There's no intrigue to it. So they're trying to build their calendar here. They're trying to build ABC's calendar in December. Or, I mean, in theory, Fox. I mean, I don't think they're going to get it, but they may get the sub-license of it. But, that's what's happening here. This is creation of content. I get concerned for them that after a while, there can be too much of a good thing. There's too much of a good thing in Major League Baseball playoffs. There's just too much of a good thing. I mean, the wild card takes all of the reason for playing the regular season. Essentially, it takes a lot of it out the door. It doesn't matter if you win your division. I mean, not really. So what I don't want to happen is it be the Major League Baseball playoffs where that's the worst playoffs we have. Hockey, awesome. NBA, awesome. NFL, clearly awesome. College football playoff, awesome. NASCAR's playoffs are great. In Major League Baseball, of the ones I mentioned, it's the worst because of the wild card. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So you don't want to get a situation where Georgia's traveling to Liberty or Georgia's traveling to Conway, South Carolina, or Furman. Well, Furman would be it, but you're playing at Coastal Carolina. That just never happened. like, oh, Ohio State's playing at East Carolina on this Friday night. No. Let's get real about this. It should be the best teams. That's it.